Hi, welcome to the course of Azure Data Factory V2. My name is Amit Naugire. I am an Azure Data Architect, also a Microsoft Certified Azure Data Engineer. So in this session, we are going to see the basics of Data Factory, like the fundamentals of Data Factory. What is a Data Factory? Why do we need to use a Data Factory? Also, at the end, we would see a practical session of how to provision a Data Factory on the Azure portal. So without much ado, let's begin. So why data factory? Like what is the purpose of data factory? Let me try to explain it with an example. Let's say there is an organization who has a lot of data stored on premise. The data is spread across multiple databases like Oracle, SQL Server, etc. Also, there are some flat files data, which is like nothing but logs and auditing kind of data. Now, as the organization is rapidly expanding, the data volume also increases exponentially. To meet this demand of exponentially increasing data volume, the organization decides that to move this data center and all these databases, all the data to cloud to get all the benefits of cloud like flexibility, scalability, and so on. Also, they could perform advanced analytics on top of this data when it's moved to cloud. To perform this transfer of data or movement of data to cloud, the organization has to follow a process. Like in the first phase, they have to extract the data, wherein they connect to the source data and they extract all the data. In the second phase, they transform this data. Once the data is extracted, they have to transform it, like apply all the data cleansing activities, all the business rules, all the data quality checks. So basically, they have to massage the data. Once the data is transformed and is cleaned, then comes the final phase of loading the data into final destination, which is nothing but our Microsoft Azure cloud. Now, Azure provides multiple ways of loading or storing data, like databases like SQL database, SQL warehouse, or blob or data lake for unstructured data like log files. So to perform this extract, transform, and load, we need to use Data Factory. Hence, Data Factory is used to perform extract, transform, and load, and for data movement and data transformation activities. It is a data integration service which is completely on cloud and provided as a platform as a service by Microsoft Azure. You could compare this with other software like Informatica, SSIs, which are on-premise softwares which perform the same activities of extract, transform, and load. Now let's see what is Data Factory. It is a cloud-based data integration service that allows you to create data-driven workflows in the cloud for orchestrating and automating data movement and data transformation activities. In Data Factory, we can create and schedule automated data pipelines that can extract data from multiple sources, transform it based on the business rules, and load it in Target. Let's see how does a typical workflow in Data Factory looks like. First, we create a pipeline. This is at the most highest level of activity that we need to do. So the first step of a Data Factory is always to create a pipeline. Next, we connect to data sources. Next, we transform and enrich the data. So over here, we apply all the business rules, all the data quality checks, all the data cleansing rules. Once it is done, we publish our changes. Publishing is nothing but saving our changes, whatever we did in a pipeline or in a particular data factory. So these changes are saved on the Microsoft Azure server so that next time when we log in, we don't lose our changes. Final step is scheduling and monitoring our data factory pipeline so that we could schedule it at a particular specific time in future. Like it could be once a week, once a day, hourly basis, and so on. And then there is a separate monitor wherein we could monitor this particular scheduled run. So we are going to see each of these phases in detail at a later stage, but just wanted to give you a high level overview of a workflow, how it looks in a data factory. So now let's proceed to see how to provision a data factory on the Azure portal. Okay, so now to create a data factory instance, a data factory service, you have to log into portal.azure.com. There will be a login screen, just log into it, and this will be your default home screen, the landing page. If you don't have an Azure subscription, I would suggest to create a free subscription, a free trial one. I think it's valid for 30 days, and they give you some credits to play around with. So you can do that, and for your practice session and everything. So once you are into this portal.azure.com, let's see, let us search for something. Let's say add resource, let's say new, let's search for data factory. Let's say create, let's give a good name, data factory demo, I would say. Let's see if this name is available. Looks like this name is not available. Udemy. Cool. So this name is available. Subscription. I have a free trial as well, so that's why I've selected this free trial. A resource group. I already have a resource group which is created. If you don't have one, you can easily create a new one. So I'll use my existing resource group. Version 2, I would select V2 because that's the latest version. V1 is a previous version, but V2 is the most recent release and has a lot of good features. So that's why I would select V2. Location, you could select any location of your choice. I would select Central US. Enable Git, I would deselect it for now, but you can use this if you want to enable source control or version tracking for your source code. But for now, I think I'll just disable it. Let's click on create. So now this will, it is as simple as this. It will create a data factory service, and you can see the progress of this over here. It should take a few minutes, like 2 to 3 minutes, I would say. And then your data factory should be created. So now our data factory has been created. You see over here, data factory demo Udemy. This is what we created in this resource group in this location. How I went over here is that this is my default page. I click on this particular icon over here, and it will show me all my resources which I've created for my subscription. So far, I only have one data factory created. So let's click on this. So after clicking, this is how it looks like. These are all the properties of a data factory. Let me give you a brief overview of what these properties are. So over here, this is an overview section where you could see your resource group, your location with subscription, and this is a unique subscription ID for you. In the activity log is something where you could see all the activities that has been done. Access control for your access management over here. I would just go over the main ones. Properties. These are some basic properties over here. This is used for your Active Directory. So manage identity object, manage identity tenant, manage identity application ID. This will be used later. So this is your properties, and then you could set your alerts. Like if you could set a rule of creating an alert and sending out an email or something like that. These are some metrics you could monitor. Over here, you could select your metrics, you could see how it's performing and all the stuff. And then finally, this is the support one. I'll go back to this overview tab. Over here also you have this documentation. This is one important area, author and monitor. Let me click on this. We are going to have a lot of sessions on this particular section, author and monitor. Now data factory is a container which has pipelines, activities, what else, data sources, link service, etc. You could create all those stuff, all those objects in this author and monitor section. As you could see, this is the at a very first level. You can see you can create a pipeline. You can create a pipeline from template. You can copy data. You can configure runtime, set up code repository, and these are some tutorials and for reference purpose as well. over here, whatever you could do over here, you could easily do it over here. This was more of a wizard way of doing it, and this is more of a coding way of doing it. So over here you could see pipelines. I create this, I can say add pipeline, all this stuff. We'll go into detail into all this stuff. This is your monitoring section where you could monitor your, you could schedule and monitor your run pipeline run over here. So that was in this section, author, a very important one, which we'll discuss of course in detail. And this is your high level like monitoring section for all the pipelines, how it's doing, how much time it's taking, and all the stuff at the activity level, at the trigger level, and the memory usage and everything. So this is just a brief overview of how to create a data factory service and what are its high level properties. We are going to have a detailed sessions on specifically on this sessions, author and monitor, where we would be creating a pipeline. We would be creating different activities, schedule it. We'll be configuring as integrations. A lot of exciting stuff coming your way. That's it for now.